Okay, guys, we're going to somewhere around here. Yeah, well, you can see now what we're going to talk about, right? Let me just fix this situation. Now, this is a quite large screen. We have right here, this is Philips EVNIA 49M2C8900 32 by 9 ratio 5120 times 1440p ultra wide second generation QD OLED DTS sound 0.03 milliseconds. We have diagonal when we're talking about in centimeters 124.3 multi-view. When we take into consideration that this is 49-inch, the curvature is not that drastical. It's 1800R, so this is just basically, making it a bit curved, but still good. We have Ambiglow, which is quite logical when we're talking about Philips EVNIA. We have the possibility to VESA mount it, since we're talking about quite large screen, so you can't flip it around, but you have the possibility to mount it on some additional stand, 100 times 100. They'll have display HDR True Black 400, and we have USB-C with DP charging, multi-client integrated KVM switch, and that's it when we're talking about the main specs. But when we go into some details, and first we're going to go with ports, we have loads of stuff to go through. It has an integrated power adapter, which is on the far right side. And the ports are on the far left side. So what I could say is this is a bit of a downside, because since you have such a huge monitor, why not place everything here in the middle so you can reroute the cables at the back quite nicely? I mean, since you are having such a huge screen, of course you take into consideration that from that side to the middle is 62 centimeters, 62.15 centimeters. And imagine losing 60, well, it's not on the far end, I would say like 40 centimeters, but let's put it this way. 40 centimeters, you lose the cable until the middle. And then you have the stand at the back, which is standard Philips EVNIA, and it's really outstanding. You have the cable comb at the back to push the cable through it and pass it back behind the table. But you're losing 40 or something like that centimeters of cable, and then you need quite longer cable for power, HDMI, DisplayPort, Type-C, whatever you need or whatever you're going to use. This is the thing that you have to actually manage. And if you don't do that, check this out. This is what happens. This is the thing that happens because the ports are really far away and the cables start pulling down like so. So outstanding design on the monitor. Everything is perfect. Everything is great. Looks brilliant. But the cables are the one that, this is the only situation where you could actually hide them a bit. But I have to mention this because this is really bugging me personally when we're talking about cable management. But I know some of you guys will also appreciate this type of info. So yeah, when we're talking about movements, so what you could do is you can do this, and it actually looks, I have more space right now. So you have the possibility to swivel it plus minus 20 degrees. You have the possibility to tilt it minus 5 to 15 degrees. And then you have the height adjustment as well, which is 120 millimeters. So we have, of course, the power is on the far right side. Then we have two HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, one USB-C DP alt mode with power delivery up to 90 watts. And it's USB PD version 3.0. Then we go further and we have USB 3.2 generation 1, 5 gigabit per second. And we're talking here about USB-B upstream and 4 USB-A downstream, which 2 of those are for fast charge. And finally, 3.5 millimeter jack for audio out. Now let's quickly go through the OSD menu, and basically it's almost the same as in the past model that I did, but the useful info here is the working time and the pixel refresh. So this gives you an option to actually check out how long this monitor has been turned on. In those terms, I know you possibly know, but the pixel refresh is kind of quite handy. Then you also have Philips Smart Control, which is a return, but unless, I don't know, it's kind of it's not that user-friendly in terms of navigation. I rather use the OSD menu because it's quite straightforward. And plus you have a remote control which can be useful when navigating through. So this is a bit of a plus and a minus. So you get a remote control, but you don't get a handy that Philips Smart Control. But then again, always the menu is quite straightforward and user-friendly, and it's really there to basically navigate through everything that you need to do. When we're talking about display screen coating, we have anti-reflection 2H, and it is a bit glossy. So what happens if I do this? Let's see if it will catch one softbox. No, this is strange. Not a single. Wow. Okay. I didn't expect this out. Oh, here we go. So as you can see, it catches. So if you're gaming or if you're working or whatever you're doing on this monitor, and if you have some lights that will definitely reflect, you will definitely notice it. But if you're going to use it for gaming, and if you game in the dark, as I do, because that's the only way to have full focus on your game, then you won't have any issues, because the visual aspect when you're gaming and the whole colors behind it is really outstanding. When we're talking about the OLED and basically burn in, which will definitely happen, you can try to avoid it with automatic screen dimming. I don't know if you noticed it, but for instance, hope you notice the difference now, because after some time the screen will dim a bit to protect from the burn-in, which is quite cool, and I definitely agree on that part. So you don't have a Pikachu standing on a 49-inch constantly with a burn-in. And then we also have clockwise pixel shift, and the good thing is that Philips gives 3 years warranty for this monitor, and it covers the burn-in as well, which is outstanding. Basically, if you really accidentally just lost track of time and it just burns in, you can just do a warranty check, which is a big plus, because, you know, things happen, and this will definitely help out in those terms with the warranty check at 3 years. I mean, that's quite outstanding, especially when the actual manufacturer says that it covers it as well. So I don't think all manufacturers would do such a thing. So big thumbs up for Philips to actually doing this. Now, let's go into some details. So luminance is really steady, and we have very wide color gamut, which exceeding sRGB color space. So sRGB is above 143%. DCI-P3 is above 99%, almost at 100, and Rec 2020 is 83.2%. So that is quite solid. Now, out of the box, it uses 6500K settings, which delivers results that are a bit too warm. And there we have high levels of oversaturation, which is kind of expected. So when you take into consideration gaming, for instance, I did Starfield, The Witcher 3, I think that was Need for Speed Heat, yeah, exactly, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So in Star Wars, I went into some dark caves, and okay, the soft boxes were turned on. I do have to admit that. And this is the scenario what I was talking about. So when you enter those dark caves in the Star Wars Jedi, if it's really lit up, you won't be able to see, compared to some other scenarios when we're talking about lights and doing such things as gaming. It won't happen. But in this scenario, it did. Regardless of that, if you game in total dark, like you switch off all your lights, well, basically the normal light, not everybody has additional unnecessary softboxes, it's perfect. The colors are really vibrant, and it's outstanding how you don't need to do much outside of the box. When you pull it out of the box, place it on your table, these colors aren't touched whatsoever inside the settings. And inside the gaming, it was just outstanding. The cool thing about, for instance, Need for Speed Heat, what I want to always check, this game has loads of colors, and as you noticed, it's always about some shiny cars and all the other stuff. That was really vibrant. That was really rich colors, and I really enjoyed checking it out, because I don't think my monitors at the back actually do have such a wide color gamut, and in those terms, giving the vibrance there. It isn't there on my monitors as such as this one right out of the box. I'm saying about right out of the box setting, placing it on the table, and starting to game immediately. But for instance, I mentioned Starfield, and it's really bad when we're talking about 32:9 ratio because of the fisheye distortion, and it happens in that game. I didn't have any problems with Witcher 3. I didn't have any problems with Need for Speed or even the Jedi Fallen Order. So it's it actually depends on the game. But also you have some cutscenes that are still in 16:9. So do take that into consideration. I mean, the cutscenes, okay, you can leave with those side black parts, and that won't bother you. But all these games are possible to play in 32:9, and that's totally fine. The only thing that Starfield was really stretched out on the sides, and this is what actually happens in this type of monitors. In the meantime, I hope you noticed that the screen did dim out a bit. So this is really cool, as I was telling you about, because it does lower the brightness just to preserve that burn-in so it doesn't happen, or just to prevent it for a bit further down the road. Now the UFO testing, as you can see, it's quite outstanding, and then you can also see that 144 and what actually happens. A bit of more specs. Contrast ratio typical is 1.5 million to 1. Then we have viewing angle 178 horizontal and vertical. Color support is 1.07 billion 10-bit. It has picture enhancements, so smart image game. Pixel density is 108.77 ppi. It has flicker-free low blue mode and easy read. AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, and it's also certified G-Sync compatible. It has low input lag. Ambiglow on 3 sides, and as I stated at the beginning, so it has on 3 sides of the back panel, and it has on the middle behind the stand. Pixel format is RGB Q stripe. Then the brightness in nits is SDR 250 at APL 100%. HDR is 450, APL 10%. And then we have HDR EP 1000 nits, APL 3%. Smart contrast is Mega Infinity DCR. And the cool interesting thing is what I mentioned about the built-in speakers. It has DTS sound 7.5 watts times 4. It has 4 speakers. It supports picture-in-picture, and it supports picture-by-picture mode with 2 devices. And I would say very well set up HDR screen out of the box. But when we're talking about HDR gaming, it needs a firmware colors update for the HDR accuracy. 1200 euros, what you get is a 49-inch QD OLED. You get 5120 by 1440. It's quite clear that it has rich and vibrant colors. I'm really fascinated. I have to do this one more time because my keyboard is over there, because I eventually had to connect it to some PC, right? But all in all, what I can say is all the specs are outstanding. It's really great. I hate the cables running really far on the side when we take into consideration. So here is the last port. This is the USB type A port, and here, right here, we have USB. Here we have the HDMI. So this is really far. I mean, we're talking about additional 20 centimeters for no reason, right? Because it would be quite obvious to place everything here in the middle, like most of the monitors have. Eventually, okay, spare the adapter for the power on the side, which will give you, I don't know, more, I don't know, you'll just have to buy an additional extender for the power cord. That's it, you know. But all together, when I take into consideration that this, we're talking about 1800R curvature of a monitor, which is 49-inch. The colors are rich and vibrant, as I already stated a couple of times, but I have to repeat it just in case. The HDR gaming does need some update when we're talking about firmware. Hopefully they will fix that in the future. But in general and overall, taking into consideration the monitor, that you can adjust literally almost everything when we're talking about the inside the OSD menu, and you can, I don't know, West Mount, Ambiglow, quite outstanding design, possibility to rearrange the cables at the back if you have long enough cables, of course, don't get me wrong. And altogether, I think this monitor would be ideal for sim racing. I would say that I'm having a 55-inch 120 hertz TV for my sim racing, and I do like the height of it. But when I was playing Need for Speed, and if you, I don't know, it's a bit different when you compare Need for Speed to sim racing. I understand that completely. But you would get field of view here up on top. If you just adjust it and place everything properly, I think you'll get to that part. But it is missing a bit. I would say somewhere here, just to get that more field of view, depending on what you're driving in your sim rig. But I think this would be quite all right. And because of the refresh rate and definitely no lag in those terms, I think this would be quite outstanding for sim racing, without a doubt. In general, it's quite all right for the price and everything. I did mention a couple of things that I might not like, so there's a possibility for some to be fixed and for some that are right. Sorry, let me just show you like this, that are right here. That's unfixable unless you do something with the cables or whatever. It's all up to you. So yeah, gloss screen, game in the dark. That's it. Guys, if you think this will be suitable for your gaming work or anything similar to that, sim rig eventually, I'll place the link for the Philips EVNIA 49M2C8900, and you can definitely check it out if the price has changed, but I checked it today while I was recording, so it's still at 1,218 euros or something like that. And if this video helped you decide, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you quite soon in another one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.